I'm doing problem 9.19 in the book, and it's stating that the article "Kids Digital Day Almost 8 Hours," USA Today, January 20th, 2010, summarized results from a national survey of 2002 Americans aged 8 to 18. Sample was selected in a way that was expected to result in a sample representative of Americans in this age group. In part A, it's asking of those surveyed, 1,321 reported owning a cell phone. Use this information to construct and interpret a 90% confidence interval estimate of proportion of all Americans age 8 to 18 who own a cell phone. So we already know that the sample size is 2002, and it says that 1,321 reported owning a cell phone. So we would need to find the sample proportion. So that's where p hat comes in. So p hat is equal to 1321. Divide that by 2002, and our sample proportion is 0.66. So now, and it's saying that we need to construct and interpret a 90% confidence interval. So with a 90% confidence interval, we would be using a large sample confidence confidence of p, and there is actually an equation to finding the confidence interval. It's p hat plus or minus the z critical value times the square root of p hat times 1 minus p hat, divide that by n, and but that's also considered the standard error. In order for us to find the z critical value, we need to look at the t chart and find the 90% confidence interval, and we need to go all the way down until we find the z critical values, and under 90% you will find the critical value at 1.645. So now that we have everything in place, we just need to plug everything in. 0.66 plus or minus 1.645, the z critical value, times our standard error, which is 0.66 times 1 minus 0.66. Divide that by 2002, and then we square root it. And so our interval comes out to be 0.642 and 0.677. What this means is that we are 90% confident that the proportion of all Americans aged 8 to 18 who own a cell phone is between 0.642 and 0.677. And now we move on to subproblem B. Subproblem B is asking, of those surveyed, 1,522 reported owning an MP3 player. Use this information to construct and interpret a 90% confidence interval estimate of the proportion of all Americans aged 8 to 18 who own an MP3 player. So again, we have the same sample size, which is 2002, and we are trying to find the sample proportion again. This time, though, it's saying that there are 1,522 reported owning an MP3 music player. So our sample proportion would be 1,522, divide that by 2002, which would give us a sample proportion of 0.76. It also states that we need to construct and interpret a 90% confidence interval. So again, it is a 90% confidence interval, and we are still using the same equation. Same equation, a large sample confidence of p, and so that's p hat plus or minus the z critical value times the standard error. And again, to find the 90% confidence interval, the z critical value for a 90% confidence interval, we need to look at our t chart, and under 90% confidence interval, we need to scroll down all the way down to the z critical values, and that's where we get 1.645. So 0.76, which is our p hat, plus or minus 1.645 times our standard error, 0.76 times 1 minus 0.76, divide that by 2002, and we square that. The numbers that we come out with is 0.744 and 0.776. What this means is that we are 90% confident that the proportion of all Americans aged 8 to 18 who own an MP3 player is between 0.744 and 0.776. Now we move on to subproblem C, and it says, explain why the confidence interval from part B is narrower than the confidence interval from part A, even though the confidence level and the sample size used to compute the two intervals was the same. Basically, what I put was that the interval is narrow because the sample proportion in A is farther, or in B is farther than 0.5.